Hey, it's okay that you're in denial. Really, it is. It's okay that you're in denial. We don't usually think about it like that in the world, do we? But let's talk about this here. Chapter 2 of the text. Part 2, the atonement is defense, paragraphs 1 through 3. To be specific, we're going to cover this today. So, straight from A Course in Miracles, denial and the proper use of denial, which, if you do it that way, it's more than okay. It's miraculous and beautiful and leads to what you ultimately value, the peace of God. Cool. And we don't see it this way in the world. We take a look at denial, and it's something that we use to insult people, isn't it? When someone says to you, oh, you're in denial, it means it's not a compliment, or at least we don't take it that way. And they certainly don't generally mean it to be a compliment either. It's a mean-spirited dig to say someone's in denial. They should just accept that your truth is the only truth. But wait a minute, how can you have truth and not someone else? Truth is true, after all. It's all that is. So one person doesn't have a monopoly on it. One group of people does not have a monopoly on it. A political party most certainly does not have a monopoly on it. Do they? No. No. So what is the constructive use then of denial? Because there is a way in which it's more than okay. In fact, it's what we're being asked to do. It's very cool. It's very cool and very powerful. It's not denial also in the psychological sense where we might have a conversation with ourselves and try to rationalize our own behavior or our own belief system or whatever it is, our own actions, in an attempt to will something away, to will our own guilt away by saying, oh no, I'm not that way. That never happened. No pasó nada. But yeah, that trying to will something away, it's a form of denial. This is very different. Thank God, right? Thank God that we've got spirituality and we've got this course to show us a different way of looking at the whole world, everyone in it and ourselves. I know. It's cool. All right. So where we are here is we're in the atonement as defense. It's chapter 2, part 2 of the text, paragraphs 1 through 3. Again, that's it for today. There's a lot to talk about. Jesus starts right off by saying, you can do anything I ask. Remember, this is A Course in Miracles dictated by Jesus. So anytime we see the first person pronouns here, that is Jesus himself talking. We can do anything he asks. Anything. He asks us to perform miracles. We can do anything he asks. A miracle, an extension of love. Love. We can do anything he asks. That, I hope, comes across as encouraging to you. Really, we can do anything Jesus asks us to do, but not in a spirit of doubt or fear. To introduce doubt and fear into the equation just wipes all of that out, because as we see and as we know deep down, we have a choice between love or fear. And our choice in the present moment is actually total. It is. You can't have some love and some hate. You can't have partial hate. We can't keep our little special forms of love and hatred for certain people or certain groups of people. We can't forgive some people and not others. Forgiveness is either total or it's not at all. So we cannot do what Jesus asks of us if we're in a spirit of doubt and fear. So what do we do about that? Because it's so pervasive. Well, we believe in what we value. So let's come back to a well-known idea from the workbook. If you haven't done the workbook, there's a workbook idea. It's a lesson. They're labeled lessons. There are 365 of them. And they're ideas that we sit with and practice and apply. That's the gist of it. The real essence of it is apply. So applying the idea, I want the peace of God. I want the peace of God. We believe in what we value. So if we value littleness, we believe in littleness. If we value limitations, we believe in our limitations, don't we? We argue for our own limitations. We see this all the time in life, in many different contexts. In fact, in all of them. In relationships, we see this. We especially see this playing out in the business world, don't we? If we think we can't do something, then voila, we can't do that thing. We've made it so. If we value our limitations, that's what we'll see. If we value the peace of God, that's what we'll see. If we value miracle-mindedness and extending love to our brother, guess what? More opportunities to do that will show up and we'll recognize them. You're more powerful than you can possibly imagine, all right? Really. Really. Now, paragraph 1 goes on here to talk about the peace of God that passeth understanding. Well, yeah, it's beyond all of our earthly labels and terms and language and any concept at all. It simply is. It's beyond all error. And here's the proper use of denial here. Here's where it's okay to be in denial. We deny the ability of anything not of God to affect us. This is the effective and appropriate use of denial, to deny the ability of anything not of God to affect us. It can't. Anything not of God, illusions, anything impermanent, anything transitory. For one, anything not of God. So we deny the ability of anything impermanent to affect us. Politics. We deny the ability of politics to affect us. People from the opposite side, so to speak, whose behavior you may not approve of. In fact, likely you don't. We deny the ability of that brother to affect you. We deny the ability of any illusion to affect us. It cannot affect us. Remember, ideas leave not their source. Who you are cannot possibly be impacted by all of the drama that we've introduced into experience. Psychodrama, melodrama, right? If you want to consider us a bunch of drama kings and queens running around making a scene just because we can, well, and that's not inaccurate, is it? So this is the constructive. This is the appropriate use of denial. So if someone tells you in this context you're in denial, thank you. Yes, I am. I deny the ability of anything not of God to affect me. Politics, no, doesn't affect me. Money coming and going, no, doesn't affect me. I deny the ability of anything not of God to affect me. Your insults will not affect me. Right? I mean, this is things that you can think to yourself, because people are going to hurl them at you, aren't they? They're going to. There's no way that you can go through the rest of this lifetime without people disapproving of you in one way or another. I mean, you can't please everybody here in the world, that's for sure. We've all learned that by now. It's why we're on the spiritual path, and it doesn't make any difference what age you are either. I mean, it's just, that's just the way it works here in the world, is there's always going to be somebody who disapproves of you and your message, who thinks you're nuts. Take your spiritual path, for example. There are going to be people that think you're nuts and that you're in denial in the wrong sort of way to them. They think, oh, you're in denial about reality. Well, of course, we're a body running around. Of course, this is real. But it's not, right? Remember, the constructive use of denial is to deny the ability of anything not of God to impact you. This is okay. It's okay to be in denial in that way. In fact, it's required. Required. It is. It is. So my hope is that you find that as exciting as I find it, which may or may not be the case. And if it's not, doesn't make any difference. That's all right. As we say here in the world, you got to do you. Meaning, you've got to put this into practice, however you put this into practice. Because nothing that's an illusion can ultimately harm you. Why? You're not a body. I'm not a body. What you see before you is a simple projected image on your screen. Then all of these things that we call pixels seem to be reassembled, not assembled, but reassembled onto this thing we call a screen. And it looks like a human being talking to you. It's not. It's a projected image on your screen. Your inner teacher is talking to you. So the question then becomes, what are you meant to hear from this? What are you meant to take away from this and apply to your life? To put into practice, because that's where the action is in spirituality. Isn't that exciting? I mean, really, it's not about whether we believe something or don't believe it. We put it into practice. And the question here that we're going to talk about is, what do you value? Because the proper use of denial is to correct error. When you deny the ability of anything not of God to impact you, to affect you in any way, you're correcting error. When you believe that it's going to affect you and make it real to yourself, that's error in itself. The miracle, extending the miracle to your brother, is the correction of error. Yeah. So denial, in seeing this way, when seen this way, when you do it this way, it's a powerful, powerful protective device. What does it protect? The mind. not the body necessarily. Remember, this is not a course in effect. It's a course in cause. It operates entirely at the level of the mind and is not concerned with the physical world that we appear to inhabit. Not in any way. Not in any way. So will we see changes in the physical world as the result of our miracle-mindedness, as the result of our forgiveness, as we extend love? Yeah, but that's not what it's about. The purpose of doing this course is not to grow fabulously wealthy necessarily. It's not to eat better food necessarily, to have more money so that you can spend time in Paris or Costa Rica necessarily. Will those things happen? Maybe. This course is here to help us change our mind. Operates at the level of the mind. So denial in this fashion, the denial of anything not of God to be able to affect you in any way, anything. This is a powerful defense. It's a powerful protective device. And ultimately, we have no opponent. There's no one attacking us. This is part of our attitude of forgiveness, isn't it? That helps undo the ego. There's nobody out there. There's no opponent. Yet, while there appear to be 8 billion opponents, then we need this powerful protective device. Remember, this course is designed to help us change our mind. So it's a mental tool. It's something we think. It's something we think about. So however you remind yourself of the ideas here, do that as often as you can. This denial of error is a strong defense of truth. Ultimately, of course, truth needs no defense. But here, while we think we're this, we need these ideas. We need this course. Ultimately, we all pass beyond even this course. God is. Quite simply. Period. It's who we are. It's who we are. And ultimately, we come to experientially realize this. But along the way, we need these ideas and we need the constructive use of denial, which is more than okay. We see here in paragraph 3 that we can defend truth as well as error. So the question becomes, which do we value? Which do we value, truth or error? And how much do we value it? Do you value truth, love, oneness with God? Or do you value error, individuality, the ego, the world of compound phenomena and suffering, defining and defending personal territory, politics, frail human bodies that decompose, decay, and frickin' disappear? Which do you value, your reality or an illusion? Which do you value and how much do you value it? We're asked these questions right here in the text of A Course in Miracles. And let's come back to the well-known workbook lesson, I want the peace of God. What is implicit in that is, I want only the peace of God. And this section of the text says something that's very, very profound and very memorable. Where your heart is, there your treasure is. So what you value is what you see. is critical to us, right? What we value, where we place our value, there our treasure is. So do you value peace? Do you value love and limitlessness? Do you value oneness? Do you value the peace of God? Do you want that? Really, really, do you want that and nothing else? We're asked this question, and happily, we're asked this very early on here in the text. Remember, Jesus presents these foundational ideas such as miracles, the atonement, miracles and atonement seen together because they're foundational. So let's ask ourselves, right, which do we value? Truth or illusion? Which is it? And how much do you value that? Here in the world, we say, how badly do you want it? Right? And generally, it's not referring to the ultimate reality. It's usually referring to some trinket in the world, or winning a sporting contest or a contract in business or something like that. Say, how badly do you want it? How much do you want it? Well, and we've each got to answer that question for ourselves. All right. So, quick takeaway. Let's all engage in the constructive use of denial, shall we? Yeah. Nothing impermanent can harm you. No illusion can touch who you are. It can't affect you in any way. Think this, think this, think this, think this. Remember, this is a course in mind training. Oh, yeah. Of course it is. What else would it be? What else would it be? Allow this constructive use of denial to permeate your mind. Yeah, that's what I invite you to do. So, as always, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for all of your subscriptions, all of the likes and views and comments. I'm more than happy to respond to your comments and questions here. And here's the subscribe button right here. It's the red arrow. I'd love to have you join us. And yes, yeah, let's indulge in the constructive and happy and powerful use of denial today, and the next day, and the day after that, and every day. All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you soon.